Greetings, Legionnaires. I want to talk to you guys a few minutes today about my experiences with Second Extinction. And I know what you might be thinking to yourselves. Jimmy, you've already covered this game. You did it last year. Well, I'm back to talk about it again. I'm really excited to share my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions about it, but not on PC this time, but on the Xbox Series X. Let's dive right in. So Second Extinction is this really interesting, kind of fun, what I would call a video game, in that you are basically landing on Earth. It's been retaken by mutant dinosaurs, and your job is to get down there, do some missions, and wipe them out. It's really straightforward, and I really appreciate that. It's just like, here you go, here's what we are. We are unabashed in that, and I really respect it. I really do appreciate it, because there's so many games out there nowadays, and it's all this like hardcore story, nuance, all this stuff, and this is like gameplay first, with just a basic kind of story in the background, which, again, I just appreciate because that type of game is appealing to me. I like all different types of games, and Second Extinction is definitely that just kind of get your buds together, let's go shoot some dinos. So, like I said before, I did play this back in October on PC. Now, my PC is not anywhere near top of the line. Did pretty well. I played with some other friends, and they had a great experience over there, too. It's still in early access, I think, over there, but now it's coming to Xbox Game Preview and Xbox Game Pass. Basically, what that means is it's going to still be in early access, but you can purchase it at a reduced cost on the Game Preview, or if you have Game Pass, you can play it on there, which is pretty sweet. Now, like I said, I played it before. I kind of knew what I was getting into, and I was just excited to dive back in because I like this game. I've been thinking about it a lot. Not that I couldn't play it on PC, but I was like, I just kind of want to wait a little bit, and then I'm going to hop on and play it with some people over on my Series X because I wanted to kind of see how the performance would be over there. I can tell you right now, it plays just as well on the Series X as it did on my PC, which I think my Series X is probably stronger than my PC now anyway, but it was really okay. No problems at all for me personally. Now, I did play with another person who was playing on Series X, and then I also played with somebody else who was on Xbox One. Now, the one who was on Xbox One, he did tell me that there were a few times where it started to chug, as it were. It started to have some issues when there was a lot of dinosaurs on screen, lots of effects popping off. It didn't seem to be as optimized as it was on Series X. But just so you know, if you are deciding to invest in this or check it out and you're on Xbox One, the smoothness, the technical aspect isn't there, at least right now, that it is on the Series X. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that shift over time. But both of these people that I played with this time were brand new to it, so that was really cool. I kind of threw them right in. I was like, here we go. We're just going to jump in. We're going to do a mission. Now, for people who are familiar with Left 4 Dead, there's that kind of similar vibe to it where you're kind of being assaulted pretty frequently all the time from all directions. Left 4 Dead, I think, is more kind of right in front. Usually later on you get attacked from behind and stuff. This game, you're getting attacked from all sides. And one of the guys I was playing with, he was like, yeah, I wish I had a radar because I'm getting attacked in the back all the time. And I think that just means you need to just keep your head on a swivel. Like, there are options for these dinosaurs to attack you, left, right, and center. And if you're not ready for that, and, behind you, and sometimes they're crashing down on you, and you're just like, oh my gosh. So keep that in mind if you're going to check this out. But the primary, enemies, as we've talked about in the past, for those just kind of catch you up to speed, raptors, that's kind of the main bread and butter, and these raptors, they're not going to pin you down like you see in Jurassic Park or something. They're just kind of like your regular cannon fodder. They have these like acid spitter raptors, they have these electric raptors that can kind of dash around and flash you and kind of blind you and or stun you. They have these alpha raptors, which are bigger, stronger. They also make all the little raptors stronger or get enraged. And then they do this crazy thing where they introduce like a few herbivores that can actually be scary, like a Styracosaurus, which is kind of like a Triceratops, minus 2 horns, got a kind of big plate or kind of frill over the back. And then there's like a bone-plated variant of that, a bit stronger. They're called bulls in this game. They also have ankylosauruses, which are really cool. They do these crazy, like, both them and the Styracosaurus do these like wrestler type moves, which I really appreciate. Like, so I'm like, how do you make an herbivore really terrifying in a game like this? They still do, but they're known as flatbacks in this game. And a new variant of them for me that's brand new is the necrotic version of the Ankylosaurus. It can like kind of shoot out these purple lobs of goo that like slow you down and disorient you. And then also there's a variant of the regular raptors that's necrotic as well, like nearby these Ankylosauruses, I believe, that they'll just jump on you, explode, and then it's the same kind of status effect. So kind of shaking up the gameplay. And then, you know, they've got the big old Rex itself, which is just like these big crazy fights. Just take that raptor, that base raptor, or that even that alpha raptor, and just crank it up to 13 and just fight it for a long time. Like the coolest fights in the game, as you can see kind of the backgrounds here on the screens if you're watching. I really like the Rex. Oh, and there's also, I'm probably going to forget some, like one thing, like one of the enemy types, but the spotters, these little kind of guys who are going to like call out to other raptors to come to the area and come and get you. So, you know, again, kind of like Left 4 Dead, where you get these, like, you have your regular kind of enemies, and they have like these specials, and then like the super like crazy specials that you have to deal with. The mission type, though, is very different than you'd have for Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, and I keep making this comparison, and I make it lovingly, but if it's Left 4 Dead in combat, the mission type is not. It's got its own thing here. It's very open-ended, very open world. You're going to kind of drop into these areas on certain missions. There was, I think, like 5 that I could choose from in this early access. And a lot, I think it was pretty much the same that I had access to back on PC, for the most part. But you'd hop in, and it might be like, all right, you have to go to 3 different hangars. You have to find these drop ships. But along the way, there'll be optional objectives that you can tackle if you want to. Obviously, optional, right? So you can kind of run around, and you can get lost in it. So some missions can go for over an hour if you just start like, oh yeah, I'm just going to kind of do everything I see, just kind of, you know, pick stuff up, and I'll shoot down a drone and get some more information, or, you know, kind of do all these little side activities, which will net you bonuses on top of completing missions to leveling up your gear, which I really love to see. That's kind of the thing we're seeing more and more now with these types of games, is that there's actually like a progression system, and I appreciate that, because you will feel your weapons get stronger. That's one thing, you know, with these types of games, that's kind of, for me, one of the biggest deals. And this game, from the get-go, is fun to play. It feels good. Even the pistol, like with the Series X controller, like it has always just felt so good. And even better, just kind of getting back to it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's just like the regular pistol. All the guns have a serious kind of kickback or feedback that is very specific or subjective to them. So for instance, my guy, one of the 4 hunters that they have, or one of the operatives they have right now, is Jurgen. That's the guy I like the most, and he usually comes base default with a scout rifle, kind of like a sniper rifle, and it doesn't kick as hard as something as another class like Rosie. She has a minigun. When you're firing that minigun, it's like my controller is going to explode. It's just like it was like, I'm like, oh my gosh. It feels really good. It feels like that's how it would feel like if you were holding a minigun. Whereas the scout rifle, there is a lot less, but you can feel like a little bit. It's like, you know, kind of thing. Which is, I should say, it's a semi-automatic. It's not a bolt action. I was doing a bolt action. I meant semi-automatic. But it pretty much comes down to this. Do you like fighting dinosaurs? Do you like shooting dinosaurs? Do you enjoy kind of first-person shooters in an intense, kind of interesting, a little bit different way than most games kind of portray them nowadays? I really think if that's the case, if you said yes to any of that, you would enjoy this game. I think there's a lot of interesting things they're kind of doing here, and it's just fun. It's fun to play. Like, from the moment you get out of the drop pod, or when you're in the drop pod, and you get out there and you start shooting, it just feels good. I really appreciate how all the weapons feel, the class systems, how they work, and also the crazy physics of the dinosaurs too. Sometimes you shoot a dinosaur in the head, and I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, sometimes they'll just jump straight up in the sky, or they'll go flying and then they'll die, and you're like, I got him. Super good. It's just so much fun. And this is a game I would highly recommend playing with at least one friend, if not 2 when you're going to check it out, because it's really meant to be played that way. You're working together, you're communicating, you're saying, like, yeah, I need some ammo, would you mind dropping some? Because, like, when I'm playing Rosie with a machine, or the minigun, and I'm like, yeah, I basically vomit bullets, so unless I bring the ammo drop myself, I'm always like, hey, can I get some ammo? Like, I hate to be that person. I'm like, I need some more ammo, please. So yeah, if you're running Rosie and you're running the minigun, just maybe bring the ammo drop. Just a little thing there. But yeah, you also, I love how there's kind of this drip feed of leveling up, like leveling up the weapons you enjoy and making them stronger and feel even better and more effective and efficient on the battlefield. But also you get unlocks for different other kind of secondary weapons or even main weapons, along with different grenade types and things like that. There's so much potential for this game. It gets my head kind of buzzing and like excited about it. So if you have Xbox Game Pass, check this out, give it a shot, try it out, and try to group up if you can. The only issues I found with it right now were like in the in the beginning area, like the characters didn't look great, but I don't know if that was just an issue, like that's something they're going to work on or whatever. If that's my only issue with the game, like that's pretty dang good. Like it's very solid, really stable, never had any disconnects or any problems with any of that at all, which is super cool. But obviously that's not a huge surprise because they've been working on this game for a heck of a long time. They've also had it on PC for a while as well. I want to thank the team over at Second Extinction for thinking of me, smaller channel, and allowing me to be to partake in this, to be part of it. I really appreciate that, because I don't get the chance to be like, oh yes, part of the breaking news very often, so I'm really thankful for that too. But I'm as honest as always, and I've always loved this game. I really from the moment they showed it off, I was like, that looks pretty cool. And then playing it, I'm like, back in October, I'm like, this is pretty cool. And guess what? It's still pretty cool. Devs, if you're watching, you lovely people, all I ask is for 1 or maybe 2 things. Can I get a flamethrower? Please give me a flamethrower. I don't know. I don't think it's in the game. I know the minigun has a variant where it can become a flamethrower. Please. And then also, maybe a bow and arrow? Let's go full Turok. Is that crazy? Explosive arrows and stuff? Rambo style? I don't know. That'd be pretty neat. That's all I'm trying to say. But yes, if you're watching this, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. A huge thank you to our patrons who make these videos possible. They continue to support us. You don't have to do any of that stuff to support us here. All I ask for you today is just shoot me a comment. Let me know what you think of the game, what you thought of the gameplay. If you have any specific questions I did not answer here, please ask me. I will be more than happy to field anything, and just tell you about more of my experience, because it's been a bunch of fun. Oh, and just for reference, I put in, at the time of this recording, oh my gosh, probably too many, let me see, maybe like 8 hours or so, maybe 8 to 10-ish, I don't know, I played a lot, I kind of, yes, thank you guys so much for watching today, and until next time, just remember to adapt and overcome. Bye-bye. It's like, little dino dance.